Right. Good afternoon slash evening slash wherever you are, and welcome to the results stream for the Colossus Replacement Contest for NoLimits 2. Here with me, I have the other two judges for this contest. So we have Bug Monster 1, Kelton. He's there. And then we also have Leo Walters joining us.
Hey, y'all know me. What's good?
Is my latency latency that bad?
And I don't know why Leo's just not talking, but he's there. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
Y'all
hear
are
myself
here.
get introduced. But hello.
Yeah, Leo's here.
It's fine.
Okay,
Go on then,
well,
Kelton.
I'm here
You have
too.
the floor.
Hello.
You have the floor.
No.
See, give him a microphone and a spotlight, and he just shies away. Anyway, so yeah, these two lovely gentlemen here have helped me do the judging for this contest and answering questions for you all during that time. First thing we're going to do is just run through a little bit of a reminder of what the contest involved, what the requirements were, what challenges, and what features we gave people to work with. And to do that, I have here a, let's call it semi-full recreation of Colossus at Thorpe Park, which is the coaster we asked people to try and replace. As we all know, or as anyone who knows Thorpe Park knows, Colossus is now the oldest thrill coaster at the park, opened in 2002, holding the inversion record for 10 inversions on a roller coaster. It has not held that record since 2013, 13 years ago. Anyone who's rode it in this day and age knows it is a less than smooth experience. It's showing its age, and let's be honest, it takes up a lot of space. And combining that with the recent removal of the old Slammer Sky Swap flat ride, some conversation took place, and a lot of people tended to agree that the idea was there to give people a chance to see what they can do with this space, replacing a very old but notable coaster for Thorpe Park's lineup. So spent a little bit of time, isolated a template, gave it to people, and said, go wild. What we did do is give people some restrictions. The main path that travels through the Colossus area is a main guest flow route. Getting from this end of the park back towards the entrance. Any other route, you're looking at going past Ghost Train, which means you're going quite far out of your way. So the plan was to keep this path as intact as possible. As part of that, we put a restriction on to limit how many footers for supports could be placed on this path. As you can see here, Colossus has its own fair share of supports that are built into the middle of that path. So we didn't want to restrict it entirely, but we did want to limit it to maintain a good guest flow through the area. Bearing in mind that whatever this entry would be the brand new coaster for the resort. It would be drawing huge crowds. So, going off of that, we also gave some restrictions for the build area, keeping it mostly confined to the same area that Colossus covers, with a bit of an extension to include the plot of land previously taken up by the Slammer. Excluding pathways, as we want to retain those, keep them usable for the existing paths. So, yeah, I am once again having some serious internet issues. My Discord call has actually died. So what I'm going to do is force quit Discord. And we're going to restart that. So we will have Leo and Kelton back in very, very soon. But yes, we gave everybody 3 weeks to design a coaster using this space, and essentially only asked people to design a coaster. You know, there was no demand for theming, for any kind of queue line design. Some people still did go out of their way to produce something for that, and you will see these projects later on. But, unfortunately, I'm having some internet issues, and we're currently trying to get things back rolling. Buddy in stream, confirm that we still have me here. Audio just a little bit. Okay. Pop that there. Yo, can you guys hear me?
Hey.
We can hear you.
Hi, right. Yeah, it got to a point where it was so bad that it just completely kicked me off my network. Should be back now. Should be back. But, yeah.
We pray.
Exciting times. Trust it. No issues.
Yes, we're just in time for last place.
Yes, no issues all day. And then right as the stream starts, no, you're going to start having these internet issues. So, yeah.
We had the test run and it was flawless, so yeah.
Yeah, the test run worked just fine last night. So yeah, how did everybody catch our recap and everything
Yes.
for the contest? Awesome, we're good.
Yes, you did a fantastic job of explaining.
You did.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. So, I think then, if you guys are ready, just want to give some quick thoughts on the entries as a whole, sort of collectively, all of them. I've got to be honest, we saw some really good stuff, some unexpected entries, but a really good variation, which honestly wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of stuff, like, obviously when we're making the template, we have what we think people are going to be doing, and then it's obviously interesting to see what it'd be like after, when they start coming in. And I remember we were all thinking it was going to be Vekoma Tilt.
I was expecting tons of those, and GCIs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, GCIs is one that people always say they're going to do, and then they build one turn, and they're like...
And they give up, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting many GCIs, but yeah, there were a lot that did at least start.
Yeah.
I was expecting some... I was also expecting, like, extreme spinners and stuff. Just sort of a lot of the, like, newer, sort of trendy models.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was very exciting to see what we got.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Leo,
no,
go
for
on.
sure. Like, because, you know, when Amy first made this template, you kind of, at least for me, I had an idea of what I would have done if I was a participant.
So did
And
I,
then
yeah.
you see stuff that, like, I would not have even thought to do. And it's really interesting when you see stuff like that, because then you have to come at it with, like, an entirely new perspective of judging it.
Yeah.
And I think across the board, there was a lot more variety than I thought.
I think more variety than any of us were expecting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally. And then you'll see with the results as well, if we, like, go down
Yeah.
the point breakdown, like, it did somewhat follow the, like, NoLimits 2 contesty trend, where it's like you'll have clumps of stuff that are all within, like, 0.2 of each other,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then there will be, like, a 1.5 point gap between the next clump,
Yeah.
and so on
Yeah.
and so forth.
Yeah, there was some groups of entries that scored very, very closely together.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we aren't trying to do that, but, you know, sometimes y'all just make a lot of 7.5s, like, or sometimes a lot of people make a lot of 8s and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. And to break this down for everyone as well, the judging and scoring document will be made available on the No Limits Central Discord server after this stream. So you will be able to view all the breakdowns of your scores, what each judge gave you, and the comments that have been left by each of us on your entries. But no matter what place you came in on this contest, no matter if it's 16th or if it's 1st, well done to everybody who took part. Really proud and really happy with the entries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There were some people who've been, you know, in No Limits for over a decade at this point entering, and there were people who were saying, "Hey, this is my
Just
first
starting,
thrill coaster
yeah.
ever." Like, so there was a pretty wide range
Really good
of
variation.
skill level and stuff as well,
Yeah.
and it made each entry spicy in its own way.
Well,
Let's just say that.
I think that's as good a point as any. Sorry, were you not finished?
Nope, that was.
Okay, yeah, so that is as good a point as any, I think, for us to get started on the entries.
Yep.
Gentlemen, if one of you would like to introduce our 16th place entry, we've got to start somewhere. Ultimately, not everybody can come first. Someone's got to come, lower down. But if, you guys want to introduce this,
Do you want to go ahead,
get the
Kelton?
screenshot on.
Well, sure. So in the 6th place is Found My Fearless is entry, The Rise of Colossus. If I'm getting that right. And
Yes,
it's a
I
mock
believe so.
extreme spinner with
Yep.
some really fierce ideas
Yeah.
if
That-
you
Mhm.
squint.
There was some good ideas on paper. There was some very evident attempts to emulate what Colossus already brought with the loop on the first bridge, the airtime hill into a Cobra Roll-esque element. There was some homages to Colossus there.
Yeah.
And
And I think that was probably
appreciated.
the high point of
Yeah.
the entry. I also really liked the roll through the station. I think it would be cool.
Yeah, that was pretty well
But-
executed.
In short, there's just a lot that does need to be
Refined.
changed with this and refined. Yes,
Yeah.
like some of the supports. I mean, you can't see it, but the support on the very far left on this far turnaround is very over supported. Like
Yeah.
the structure alone would be costing millions, and I don't even know if it would be working that well, to be honest.
Yeah.
And other small stuff like the track connectors are kind of weird in some places and they don't exist in others. And the main thing that I found peculiar, not to out this person, but like for some reason, this ride was built with like a custom heartline, but they did it 1 foot up on the Y and 1 foot to the right of the center
Yeah.
of the track. So
Mhm.
anytime this ride rolls, it like kind of
Shifted.
starts tweaking a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very weird, especially for like an extreme spinner, which has a very high heart line
It certainly does.
normally,
Yeah.
because they're massive trains. And as a tip for anybody who is trying to build an extreme spinner, these cars are longer than the cars you attach them to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're building a 4-car extreme spinner, you can't put 4 mock trains and build the ride and be like, oh, see, it only pulls -2 in the back. We're fine. No, you need to
Yeah.
add a 5th and a 6th car because the back of the 4th car on this train matches with the front 2 seats of car 6 on the normal mock
Yeah.
launch
So-
coasters.
Yeah.
So if you don't build it with those extra cars and just sort of let them go by the wayside when you hide the wireframe, your forces will be crazy, which they are.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
all in all, it was a good effort, but there is a little bit of extra work needed to really raise it up to.
Exactly, and if they,
a
if they
better
have
Yeah.
questions,
entry.
feel free to ask. Like, we'd
Yeah.
love to help.
And of course, you've got the comments you can refer to in the breakdown
Yeah.
once the stream's over.
Yeah.
So, moving on from there, Leo, if you want to bring us in 15th place.
Of course. In 15th place, we have Scorpion by Matrix Coasters, which is a swing launch Intamin LSM coaster. I think this is a really ambitious entry. I think maybe slightly over ambitious. It was fun to see a swing launch. Not many people attempted swing launches in their entries, so that was fun. Sadly, I feel like for me, that was kind of the highlight of the ride. It feels like everything is centered around the swing launch, and there's not a whole lot of thought put into the rest of the layout.
Yeah.
I mean, following the swing launch, there's about 3 elements before it hits the brakes at about 60 miles an hour or something.
With some braking force that might be a little less
Yeah.
than safe.
Yeah. The other things I want to point out with this ride, there are some interesting decisions made with supports. Some places are kind of
Yeah.
under-supported, some places are over-supported, but not in a way that is really functional necessarily. I think this was a really interesting idea to have, and I think the way that the spikes kind of run along the side of the water looks really cool. Um, but yeah, I think just more refinement and like more kind of vision as to what this coaster was supposed to be would have taken it further is my two
Yeah.
cents.
Yeah, I think there were definitely some moments, like this was made in FVD, and you can tell when any straight section comes and it kind of like freaks out a little bit. But then also there are elements like the very first one out of the first launch where there's like a really weird clunk in the transitions, and like if you go through the radius comb, you can see like I can literally see them scrolling down the like time function or whatever. They're like, oh my god, we need this to be done in 0.1 second. Like I have to get down, and you
Yeah.
can really feel it on the ride as well. Personally, I did like this one, but the thing that knocked it down the most for me was the safety score, because every
Agreed.
single time I would open the file, within 3 or so trains, there would be like a potentially deadly situation that would come up. Obviously, we won't be able to see it just on this picture, but basically what would happen is the way that the block blocks were set up, the train, like say, train 1 would launch through the course and it would be fine, yada yada. But train 2 would launch off of the first launch before the switch track was actually like
Cleared.
even moving into place back for train 2 to go over it, like as train 1 was going over the top hat. So essentially if that happened and the switch track stopped in any position not perfectly where it's supposed to be, the entire train would just fall off.
Yeah, it was quite prone to crashing when I was running it. We were even given instructions with this one not to change or edit with the mess around with the sim speed because it was so prone to crashing. Which, if you're having to
And you
leave
didn't
that
even
kind
need
of
to.
reminder, yeah, it's
Didn't even need to
Yeah.
mess with the sim speed to crash it. And also the entire spike supports are not connected to the track. Like the structure is entirely there,
yeah,
and then the track is there, but there's
just
nothing
floating. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good idea on paper, but I think more work was needed to elevate it to a higher grade.
I think if they gave that final section a bit more area to like do something, it would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, well done. Still did good. We will move on from there. Keeping in with the taking it in turns, Kelton, if you would like to introduce us entry number 14.
Yes, I will in just a sec. Were y'all able to hear me talk about how this thing crashes?
So
Yeah.
I'm not getting any drop frames on my end, so I think we're doing okay where the stream's concerned. I got latency, but I think the stream's doing okay.
I just want to be sure because that was a very important part of that entry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, as we wait for them to
Yeah.
say yes or no,
I'm
This
getting
next
it's
entry-
all good. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Here we
very
go.
excited to talk about.
Me
I
too.
wish we could
Yeah.
do more than just a picture of this one.
Me too.
Because it is a roller coaster, like literally but figuratively at the same time. Because
Definitely is.
this person knows. This person knows No, is he here? Is he? We
I
gotta.
believe he
where's
said he was
at?
going to miss this.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't think so. Do you want to go ahead,
Well,
Kelton? And
Yeah,
Yes,
go
sure.
ahead and
So,
introduce.
14th place is Shalawan by Itim305. And Calvin, you're lucky this came out before Hollywood Nights because I'm surprised. Like, it is a great ride in so many aspects. It's a really
It's a-
interesting concept. It's
yeah.
a really funky, twisty layout. Like, it really does have the writing on the wall for it to be fantastic.
I opened this and I on looking at it just from opening it, my experience, I was thinking to myself, I'm really going to like this.
Yeah. I
It
looked
has
at the
a-
pictures and I was like, oh my god, he ate this up.
Yeah,
And
it has a
then you go
great
on it.
presence, and then
Yeah.
you run it, and
And you push F2,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it
You guys
is
mind
just a mess. Like,
if I talk about this for a little bit?
go ahead,
There
you've
is-
got the floor.
Yeah, there is quite a lot I have to say. I'm gonna make it brief because obviously we're only at 14.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think I can see that people in the chat are surprised because you look at this as a screenshot and you say this looks really cool. And it does look really cool. I will give it that. It looks really, really cool from like an
great
off-ride
presence.
perspective.
Yeah,
Watching it like snake around itself and interact with itself, it's really fun to watch. Where you kind of hit issues with this is I feel like there was so many ideas crammed into one ride, and I think kind of pulling back on that a bit and letting the most prominent moments shine and then the rest of the layout kind of be normal in a sense. I don't like whatever that means, but
there's
yeah.
not much in the way of breathing room, is there?
No, there's not. And the kind of standout issue with this for me is it pulls minus 2.4 vertical Gs and minus 2 lateral Gs at the same time. And like Helton said, it's disappointing to see from someone that I know has proficiency in NoLimits.
I was gonna say can do, and many times has
and
done
reasonably did,
better.
and
Yeah.
also reasonably did it on this too. So basically, to run through the ride, you back out of the station and launch backwards through the first section of the ride, which is kind of in the part like behind what you guys see on this picture. It's by X, and it's just really intense, but it's fine enough.
Just about to see
And
it
you
there.
enter backwards into the swing launch, which has a stall in the middle, which again
Switch
would be
hill.
really cool, but it's just very crammed in here. So it's like you're launching backwards and you're already getting like within the strong negative ones on the first pass back, and you go
Yeah.
over this slightly twisted spike, and then you just launch forwards, and it's like the first entry to the stall is like boom, -2, and then you hit the stall when you're going so fast that there's basically positives at that point, and then you exit the stall again, and that's where you get the -2.4 and the -2 lats at the same time.
It's a bit mental.
And you just absolutely power through this whole thing. Like you fly over the hill into this element where the train is, which is a great element, by the way. Like, it would be awesome.
It
but it's
looks
just
fun on
so
ride.
intense the entire time, and you fly through this Immelman turnaround closest to you,
Yeah.
and you enter the 00G roll. But joke's on you, it's not a 00G roll, it's a double -1.5 roll. And the roll rate is so unbelievably tight that it literally looks like that gif of Peter Griffin falling down the stairs.
Oh,
It's like the train does. And I looked so hard. Like,
I
for
could-
probably 20 minutes, I went slowly inched my way through the 00G roll and the double roll. And it somehow does not clip, it blew my mind. But that's sort of what I'm saying with Calvin. It's like, how are you able to get the roll rate down so within what No Limits 2 would qualify for like the bogies and like the train
Yeah.
working, that he was able to do it flawlessly. It didn't happen anywhere else on the ride either. But then somehow the disconnect between doing that and just the speed you go through it at, like, oh my god, like we were
Yeah.
sitting there at our screen screaming
Yeah.
out loud.
It's
Yeah.
It would be
It was
crazy, but it
unfortunate, I think. I know Cole's just mentioned in chat this being one of Calvin's first rides in FVD, and if that is the case, and if it is sort of more that Calvin is more proficient with hand building, I think if he'd stuck to that for a contest, or for any contest really, this would probably have been a much higher placed entry, I think.
yeah, I agree.
With a similar layout, similar execution, but I think it would have just been more polished, I think.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, and you know, I think I was as surprised as you two that this ended up where it did, but
Yeah.
I think it's a good opportunity to learn from this entry and take that forward into future coaster design.
I agree. And also the brake spike is cool. Like the whole ride system is actually quite unique and cool and would be really fun.
I loved the idea on paper, really did.
But then the brakes slow it down enough so that like you go through the brake spike and like not even half of the half of the train is through the roll. Like so the vast majority, including all of those catch nets he put at the end for whatever reason, are just completely useless because the train doesn't
a little bit of a moot
them.
point. Yeah.
So I think that if it actually did the full roll and acted as more of like a brake spike that's like here's like it would have been so cool. It would have been so cool.
It's unfortunate that a ride that has a lot of identity places here, but we kind of just have to judge what is on the table in front of us.
That's it. Sort of. We aren't always communicating with each other during the judging, and we're certainly not colluding on scores, for example. So we will have all scored different things, but it's the combination of those scores that bring these positions of where they are. You know,
so close.
And as with everything, there'll be comments on the breakdown to have a look at.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we shall move on from that and keep things rolling. I believe, Leo, you were up next to introduce 13th place.
Yes, so 13th place is Colossus, very inventively named, by Emmett Clickman, which is another Intamin LSM coaster. This ride has some really, really, really cool ideas. Specifically, there's a launch, I think it's the third launch of the ride actually, that kind of flies by the station. And it's so simple, but it was so cool to watch. I think that's just, I've not seen it before. I'm sure someone has done it before, but I thought that was just a really creative idea. The layout of this coaster is pretty good, I would say, for the most part. I think for me, it just really came down to how it was executed. I think some of the shaping isn't necessarily in line with what Intamin would do. I think some of the supports are a bit wonky. I think this is just another case of really refining what was there. Because I don't think this is a bad layout by any means, but it's just... this is a thing with a lot of these entries, is a lot of them just required a bit more polish, and that's all it came down to in the end, which is why we had a lot of entries that fell quite close score-wise, which you guys will see when we post this spreadsheet later.
Yes.
But yeah, this was a good entry, all things considered.
Yeah, I think my experience with this one myself, to echo yourself, I thought it was a good layout. It used the space quite effectively, but I found it a little bit meandering at times, sort of doing a lot without doing that much. And where polishing up is concerned, I'll draw attention to one detail in particular, and it's probably partially my own fault for not really detailing the building up enough. But this wooden building here, which in reality is, I believe, a hot dog stand. So very much a hollow, used building. A support on the second launch was anchored through the building.
You and this hot dog stand.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
We're gonna get into
somewhere,
that hot dog
like-
stand later. I mean, do we even need to talk about the taco stand? You know, we'll get into that
Nobody
later.
does. Yeah, this one
but yeah.
I did really like as well. I probably like this the most out of the three of us. I thought it was really cool how the first two sections of the ride were very inversion heavy, but then the final section was completely void of inversions. It just gave it a more unique flow than a lot of the other ones had, where they were either very consistent throughout the whole thing. But one of the main things that did lower this guy's score was it does not pass like necessary e-stop tests and stuff. If you stop the train at the top of the element that it's in this picture, and you let it go off the top of it, it doesn't make it through the dive loop just down there. And that's at least a reasonably important thing, I would say, especially since a lot of other ones were able to do it.
I think as well,
as it was said already, like the polish would just make it a lot better. Like, as even in this Immelman here, like there's a clear cantilevered support that's supposed to be very symmetrical and very uniform, and it's not.
Yeah.
And it would cause it to fall and stuff like that.
Yeah, structural failure. I think my issue with the e-stop test failure in that second section is, sure, you'll get coasters that can fail e-stops and valley mid-course, but they're designed in such a way that where that valley point is in such a low zone, evacuating from there would be no issue whatsoever. And quite a few entries that, yeah, maybe could potentially valley in places, still considered that, and still considered where the train would come to a rest, and, you know, included catwalks and things like that. Whereas this, the low zone point of valleying is quite high off the ground. You'd need to get equipment in there. Equipment which, you know, is not exactly in the most conveniently accessible place. It's low to the ground, but it's just high enough that you would need equipment to evac, and the equipment itself would struggle to get through. It's in that unfortunate zone where it's, you know, not low enough to evac, but low enough to cause issues for access.
Yeah, I think, this is the thing with this entry, is that there was a lot of potential here. It just wasn't quite fulfilled. And I think it comes down to experience with No Limit.
Everything comes with time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so, moving on from this one, though, we have next up 12th place. Kelton, if you want to kick us off.
Sure. So 12th place is Vasuki by Lydian. It's this massive Vekoma LSM coaster. And I'll just say this right now, in no shade to everyone we've just talked about, except Calvin, but basically from 12th onward is where we start to get into our clumps. From a bigger picture view, Lydian's coaster is less than 3.5 points away from 5th place. So really from 12 to 5, we're getting into the ones where it's really nitty-gritty. And I would not necessarily use the placement as like a like a derogatory term. Like, this is still great. This ride had really cool things that I didn't expect. Namely, the 2 Immelman style elements right at the end of this section duel every time, and I think it looks great. At first I was confused. I was like, why are we stopping on the first launch? But then I saw it go through, and I saw the other train going through as well, and I was like, whoa, okay, Fierce, I get it now. this ride's really smooth. The profiling's really well done. Like I'll
Rides really
talk about it
well.
in my comments.
Yeah.
It does ride really well. There's a lot of stuff that's great with this.
Yeah. I was.
But then at the same time, oh sorry.
No,
Go
you.
ahead.
I was a big fan of the presence that it had in the area. Sort of big elements that didn't feel oversized. You can do big elements a lot in coasters, and they sometimes feel unnecessarily big, and I wasn't finding that here. You know, everything felt like it was the size it needed to be. Big fan of the twisted element in that Cobra Roll pit.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to jump in and say, like, very quickly, one of my kind of gripes with this entry, I think it's, like, pretty solid overall. One thing that kind of reduced from, like, the score I could have given this was it feels like a coaster built on top of Colossus, or the plot rather. It doesn't feel entirely integrated into the plot, I would say. And that's something I know that I personally was looking for, was just a bit more like, I don't know, like a bit tidier in terms of the way that it used the template. And it wasn't just this one. There's a few that I've given that critique to, where I just think some more like thoughtful interaction with the template would have taken it a lot further.
I agree, and I also think out of the ones that we've given this critique to in the future, this one is one of the lesser offenders of that. I think there are some that are really
forgiving.
like just building a coaster on top of this plot,
slapping a coaster in a space.
Working, I guess. But I think that this one is also a little bit like, I don't know how else to say it other than like left heavy. Like in the picture, you can see that everything is on the left hand side of the ride. It'd be very overwhelming being over there in a sense, while on this other side, on the right hand side where you'd be entering, it's pretty sparse and demure. Like there's this section that a lot of people put top hats in, but for example they just put a left hand turn into the brakes, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it did sort of come across as like, here's the fierce idea that I have over here, now let me figure out how to get to the other side.
Communist.
I think another thing with this for me is like, I know that Vekoma has that very FVD type shaping and design language. I understand that, and obviously that makes it easy to recreate, and I think some parts of this ride did very well at achieving that. I think overall the layout doesn't quite have like the thoughtfulness that Vekoma layouts do. It feels a bit sort of lacking in direction in places. I think Vekoma layouts, other than left, no, I think it just needed a bit more kind of precision in what you wanted it to do, because it kind of just feels like a spam of Vekoma type elements rather than a Vekoma layout, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think I'll wrap this one up with the observation, which I honestly expected us to cover sooner. It's a really unfortunate one, which I think is probably the biggest offender that held this back from a higher score. The first launch, it unfortunately fails the E-stop test quite spectacularly. So you can see it here in the screenshot. It's a 3-stage launch: an upwards incline into a hill, valley launch into, continuing to curve up, and then just sort of an extended trebuchet launch at the top. And if you E-stop this so that it just doesn't clear the top and rolls back, these launches do not slow it down, and it comes flying backwards into the station. Which was unfortunate, because it's a great launch concept. I think E-stop proofing that would have enabled a higher safety score on this, which would have in turn enabled it to have placed a lot higher. I
completely agree.
So yeah, it's an unfortunate feature that we ran into, but certainly something to keep an eye on in the future.
Yep.
But otherwise, really well done. Really enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
we'll move on. This is going to be the last of the screenshot-based showcases. From there, we're going to be moving on to POVs. Who was next?
Me.
Was it Leo?
So
Yeah.
in 11th place, we have Shaman by Nerfa 10, which is a RMC Raptor, not a coaster type that I expected to see in this contest
Ditto.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
And for me, I think this did a really good job at kind of replicating what a Raptor feels like. I think from the supports to the shaping, it has like the weird quirks that Raptors do with just like random moments of laterals. I think that part of it was really well executed. I think again, for me, what kind of brought this down is the same critique I gave to Lydian's, which is it feels more like a coaster built on top of the plot rather than within it. I think more careful utilization of the template and the tunnels. I mean, I will say this now, this is the only entry that didn't get full marks for the tunnel use, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you are right. Every single other entry used both of the underpasses at least once. This is the only entry that did not use both.
Yeah.
And I believe that one bonus point would have made the difference between 11th and 9th.
Yeah, I think it potentially would have done without, like, off the top of my head. But yeah, I think this was a solid entry in terms of how the coaster was built and the thought that was put into the layout and how it, resembled an RMC Raptor. I think that was really well done. It's just kind of how well does it suit this contest in particular, and for me that's sort of where it fell. One more thing, it has like a dual load station type thing going on, and occasionally it would dispatch so quickly that it would then brim really hard on the mid-course and then kind of meander through the second half, which takes away from it a little bit. But aside from that, I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I like the presence, sort of, in that some parts of the ride have would look great on the skyline, would look great to walk through, and then there's other areas, especially post mid-course, I think, that just kind of feel like they're hovering above the area and not really in the area. And I think that plays into what Leo you were saying about a coaster built on the site, not within the site. You know?
Exactly.
So that's sort of what brought it down a little bit for me. I'm no expert on RMC Raptor supporting as well, but I did feel like some areas of this felt appropriately simply supported, and then some areas felt a little over-engineered.
Yeah, I imagine that some of those parts you found slightly over-engineered were actually reasonably accurate. Like, for example, the turn out of the mid-course is very, like,
is that what they would actually do?
That is what they did on
Wow.
Jersey Devil and Wonder Woman, the main
Right.
turnaround on that ride. It's very interesting how
Yeah.
they have it. So I actually thought that the supports were probably the highlight of this ride.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mark down
Raptor
on that
supports
basis.
are very yeah, exactly. They're very complicated, but not at the same time.
Yeah.
He added a lot of the extra like length to the beams through
Yes,
other poles that they're
as we
connecting
know
to, which is also something that
expect.
they do.
Yeah.
There's a lot that's really good about this. We're gonna be beating a dead horse here, but it's just slight areas of polish that would make it better. Like, for example, the one tunnel pass that it does have, if you're in the front going through that Immelman, you're pulling 5Gs.
It's
Entering that
intense.
Immelman. Like,
Very,
and-
very whippy.
yeah, there were parts that were overly intense, and then there were parts that were underly intense. But there was a lot of really good stuff on this one. I absolutely love like the first drop and then the first Immelman with the drop after. I think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
But
All in all, though, it was one of the more unique entries that we got, which was good.
yeah, I was not expecting a raptor at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Really
But I could also
pleasantly
see
surprised
it.
to see one.
I could slightly see it. Like if Thorpe was able to get like a consistent like 3 to 4 trains running on a raptor, I think it would actually like work well. For
Yeah,
y'all,
if they
but
got it running at full capacity, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
Um,
entirely sure that would happen. But that's not this person's fault.
No, definitely
So-
not. That would come down to good old
Exactly.
Merlin. Yeah,
Exactly. They needed to pass 800. They passed 800. So
definitely. Yeah. Right. So I think that wraps us up for the screenshot portion of the results. So, what we will do is start getting the POVs loaded up. Gents, if you could just check the Discord stream, let me know if you can see this alright.
Yep, I'm seeing it. All
Awesome.
good.
Right, if you could take us away and introduce 10th place.
So 10th place is Fallen Celestial by Swiss Hope. It's a very intense launched Hyper GTX. I actually love this layout. I think it's fantastic. But it definitely has it. Like my thighs would be hurting on this ride.
Yeah,
so bad.
I had some thoughts on this one. It was definitely a Hyper GTX, but I think maybe a little too much Hyper GTX. I observed some issues with the train clipping, especially on the 2 very quick rolls. You've seen one of them already. I think the next one's, yeah, it's right here.
Oh!
Yeah, the nose of the train clips right through the track on both of those rolls, and I know that we know Lightning Run does its thing. We all know it does that, but I think there's a limit, and I felt a little bit like this exceeded it. Just a heads up, folks, in this portion, POVs are just going to be running on loop, so while we talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this for me was like I really like this layout. I think this is a fantastic layout. There's just something about it that really just like scratches an itch in my brain. I can't put my finger on it entirely. I like the way that it uses like the levels, like this first element, the overbank finishes higher than it starts to then roll down. I think just stuff like that, it like adds like a more dynamic element
A little bit
to
of character.
the ride. And
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. And I thought it was very varied and it accomplished a lot, like positives, laterals, negatives, etc. But yeah, that one roll, especially over like by the water, is really quick.
This one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we needed to maybe bring that back a little bit. I think even the last roll coming up is probably still a bit too fast.
I believe
but-
it's the only one that doesn't clip the train, but it still does feel very fast. I agree.
It feels intense. But yeah, I just thought this was really creative. I really do like this layout a lot. But it just, in terms of like safety, functionality, etc., is kind of where it starts to miss the mark a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because, like, for me, it's the second half in particular. The first half is pretty well managed and stuff, and I think it's all within not only allowable but realistic forces and stuff like that. But then it feels like the launch is just ever so slightly too fast on the second half. Because
Yeah.
you're going through these really strong airtime hills, like I'm talking negative 1.5, 1.6, directly into the roll, which is negative 1.9 with laterals and stuff like that. And then
Yeah.
you get immediately thrown back
It's-
into this, oh yeah, we roll now. And then boom, that's another negative 1.6 hill. Everything after is just so strong
Yeah.
that
The-
it, like, oh, ow.
Yeah, the phrase "finish strong" I think was taken maybe a little too literally here.
Yeah.
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 But it's still a fun ride, and it's still certainly the type of thing I could see in this space. Definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's really unique and really cool. A couple of the things that I slightly marked down on are I am not convinced that the second launch would be functional, quote unquote, like in the
Agreed.
event of a rollback. Maybe I am just underestimating Chance Ride's LSM potential, but I don't think that
Catapult
there's
launch.
enough space. Yeah, for real. I don't think there's enough space for it to swing backwards once and then immediately
And
launch
then clear this.
forwards again.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And also
Especially the
exit
speed
of
it's
this,
going at.
right, exactly. It might be able to clear it at a normal speed, but not at this speed.
Maybe not from a
but-
standstill.
Also, the end of the second launch is curved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Which is a
still
no-no for me.
really like this, and you know, some really good work put in. But
Yeah, I love this layout.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So I think we shall move on from there. Let me just get 9th place pulled up here. Sure, gents, we're looking okay.
We are good.
Awesome.
So, in 9th place, we have Solaris by Kunai, which is a very unique Gerstlauer Infinity coaster. I wasn't surprised to see a Gerstlauer Infinity. I was surprised to see one like this. I think this layout is so interesting. Is it entirely Gerstlauer? It's difficult to say because Gerstlauer is very unpredictable. But then I'm like, I
Never
don't
know
know
what
how
they're
much
gonna
I
do.
exactly, and then I don't know. But I really like this layout. I think I'm probably the one who likes it most out of the three of us. Unsure. I
was
wasn't
fairly
expecting
fond of
it.
this.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to flow as well as it does, but again, there's just something about it that I really like. I think it's varied, I think it's dynamic. There's moments of this that I particularly like. The first inversion into that big airtime hill, very cool sequence of elements. Yeah, I think this is all around like a very well thought out entry.
Agreed. It's for me. I think maybe my scores may come in a little lower. For me, being a little over analytical on shaping and flow, because it's a good presence. It's got some great elements in there. They are shaped well, and I think for me it was just maybe one too many awkward, drawn out transitions to connect those elements up.
I agree, exactly. Like, there are some moments, especially within the tunnels, where it just sort of, like,
Hovers.
lulls out.
Yeah.
And, yeah, tries to figure out how to get to the next element. The first part of this ride is super strong. Up until right about here, I'd say it's almost flawless. I love the roll in between the two tunnels, and then the corkscrew after
Yeah,
is
that was
still
fun.
very reminiscent of Colossus. The splashdown here is cantankerous. I hate it. Delete it. I don't want it at all.
I'm gonna have to agree. It was unnecessary.
I didn't mark down any points for it, but oh, I made a stink face. Like, and then the entrance to the brake run here is curved. I'm gonna get on y'all for a curved fin every time. Ever since Minion in the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket Contest, when I was roasted to hell and back for having curved fins, it's been over for everyone else. Y'all better not have no curved fins. So, outside of that PTSD, it is a great ride. This LSM launch lift hill was not something I was expecting to see, and it's a very basic turnaround design after, but like it would have been super intense, but still awesome.
For me, that turnaround after the launch lift gives me Gold Rush vibes. So for me, because that is immediately reminding me of another existing Infinity coaster, perfect. No flaws in that for me at all. It's reminding me of something that is exactly what this ride model is. You know, I think that is precisely what a well-designed ride should do. And I think if all of the parts of this did that same, gave me that, not did the same thing, but gave me that same yes, this is exactly what Gerstlauer would do feeling, it would have scored higher for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
this was
agree.
solid, but again, it's just polish. It's just about polish at the end of the day. And there is a lot of entries we will be saying that about. There's a lot we've said it about already. It will continue, and it really is like such slim margins between
Yeah.
basically the rest of these entries up until like fourth.
Yeah.
So yeah, very well done on this.
Yeah, really well done. In that case, then, we will move on from that position and move on to 8th place. Gentlemen, once again, just string check. You see okay?
Yep,
Still up
we're
to date?
good.
Yep.
Awesome. Kick us off.
So this is Dragonfire, a funky Intamin LSM multi-launch. I do really enjoy a lot of this, especially the first two elements out of the main launch. I
Yeah.
think the sequence that it does is really fun, and I actually just legitimately want it to be built. There's some cool sections by the water that I think are over supported, and a couple weird sort of flat sections and
Like that.
meandery bumps that just kind of make the ride feel a little bit awkward. But again, this airtime feels great. Everyone loves their roll over the wall, which this
As I
one
say,
was
you
also
can't
super
go wrong.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Damn, this is running fast. I did not remember it going this quick.
Yeah, right. I'm looking back at this myself, and I'm like, was it really that? Like, you know,
Right.
it's.
And I love how the supports have, like, there's clear thought into what the overall structure is supposed to be, and it looks like they definitely made elements aiming towards putting them on the structure, which I don't necessarily know if was the right choice, but it's also not a bad choice, you know? It's quite zippy, and I did quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even just
I
stuff
think-
like that outer bank where it's like, what is really the point of a 5-degree off axis hill? Just make it
Yeah.
straight.
I think for me, like Helen said, this sequence right here with the rollout of the second launch and then it turns around, drops down into the stall, I think that sequence is brilliant. Like, I
Yeah.
really think it's awesome. Where this ride kind of loses me is a lot of it feels not so intentional in terms of how the layout flows. The first half is quite meandery. This second half after that first sequence is also quite meandery. I mean, just to give an example, maybe this is quite nitpicky of me, but you have that super intense Mosasaurus roll over the water, you turn around, and then you do like a fairly floaty 0G roll, and it just seems like sequencing like that doesn't entirely make sense to me, I think. Like, if you really wanted it to end with a bang, it would kind of be going the opposite way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does lose steam.
I think
Like,
Yeah.
some of it for me is this section we're in right now is it feels a bit disjointed because at the very beginning of the ride you are starting off with a 2-stage airtime launch into I don't know what they're calling it now, 0G Winder, the Pantheon style thing. So already we're off to an intense start to the ride, and then immediately after that we're just meandering through some turns to get us up to that second launch, where we really start to get into the thrill elements. And I think maybe just something else to break up that sequence of turns before the second launch, or even just to shorten it, would have made that first section feel a little better. But I'm agreeing with Calton and Leo here. This sequence of elements after the second launch, roll up, turn around, 0G stall. I'm gonna do the cliche. It's a chef kiss. It's magnificent. I really love it.
Yeah, that is easily the highlight of the ride, I think, for all three of us.
Definitely the highlight, yeah. What I will say, and it's going to kind of contradict my own point here, it's a good use of Slammer's space. That you use the entire space, not just dipping in and out. It stayed there, you know. And a lot of entries where the Slammer space has been used have just kind of either dipped a toe in or not used it at all. You know, this really took the chance, took the opportunity that was given, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think, like, generally this was a solid entry. I just think more attention paid to what the layout is doing and trying to achieve would have taken this further, because the execution mostly is there. But I just find this layout to be not super interesting for a good portion of it, to be honest.
Yep.
All in all, though, well done, great effort, and it's beautifully smooth as well. But we shall once again move on from there, and I will load up 7th place. And once again, just double check, we're looking good.
We are looking good.
Awesome, go ahead.
So, in 7th place, we have Cobra by Asterix, which is another multi-launch coaster. Bit of a trend going on. Out of the three of us, I think I like this the most. I think this layout is really, really good. And I will explain why. It feels natural, it feels dynamic. There's nothing about this layout that feels like it was forced in there. You can see the obvious cues taken from Tiger, but this ride still has its own personality. I think there are a couple places, or, well, one notable place right here, where the cues taken from Tiger don't entirely make sense in the context, but I think it's minor, at least in my opinion. I appreciate this ride doesn't, hang around doing stuff that would kind of detract from how punchy it is. It just gets done what it needs to do quickly, and then it's done, and I appreciate that. Do I think a couple other elements may have benefited you a little? Potentially, but I think it ending where it does is fine. Like, I think it's fine. I think the second launch going under the first is really interesting. I just think, like, this was a really creative, like, layout. I just think it's super creative.
Yeah, I agree with this. It's clearly influenced, and that influence isn't lost. And it's good execution of the elements, and I'll get the nitpicking out of the way now. And I know you drew attention to this as well, Kelton, is that some of the supports... I know that we said to limit the amount of footers on. And we were very specific about the wording on that, to limit the footers, not to avoid them entirely. And I think some people have put some effort in to completely avoid it, and by doing so have designed some support structures that aren't necessarily realistic. And this entry falls victim to that in a couple of places.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that too. I'm not going to echo everything that they just said because it'd be a waste of time. I mean, I love the 2 Stengel dives back to back into the roll in the final section. I think that part is awesome. Yeah, there are definitely a couple like stanky leg supports that could have used a bit of beefing up if they had just slightly dipped into the red. But this is one of the ones that I feel like is reasonably built for the template. I could actually see this being at
Pause this in a second. Show
that.
Yeah,
100%.
The offending support.
That
right
one.
there.
Yeah.
There are just... Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what else to say that hasn't been iterated already. Like,
it was a great
very
entry.
solid, and I like that the elements are in a slightly unconventional order. And I also like that it does not need trims, and that it does not need to overcorrect itself entering the brakes. It is just an overbank
just
slash cutback thing
flows.
that goes straight into the brakes.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a little set of trims and then a turn where you bank to the left and then
Or
you quickly
drawing
snap
out the
to the
turn a
right
little bit,
and then
yeah.
unbank and stuff. It feels like it was actually planned for this area
It does.
in a way that others won't.
Yeah, that definitely
Yeah,
elevated this.
Yeah, I 100% agree with this. What kind of brought this down, I think, for us is there's either one or two clearance failures. I think with the under the
Yes.
bridge, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, like round
Right
about
around
the
here. Yeah.
Ow.
yeah. But yeah, I think this was
Some grazed
the word that
knuckles.
I would use to describe this entry is just clean. Like I think this is a cleanly presented, executed ride, and that really goes a long way.
Yeah, agreed. Clean, smooth, feels like it was designed for the space. Really well done, and congratulations for hitting the top half of the entries.
Yes.
But I will move on to the final one of the POV entries for 6th place. One last time, just double check we're okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
So in 6th place we have Mirage by Kurt Edwards. This, I am definitely the fan of the three of us of this ride. I think this is another Hyper GTX. I know that. I don't think that. I know that.
Yeah,
but
we've all treated it
this
as one, haven't
one-
we?
yes.
Yeah.
I was not expecting one GTX, let alone two, but I really like how this one is more of the standard. Like, it's just a standard GTX, you know? Like, it's really good. The layout flows impeccably. I think that this is one of the few rides that's smaller than what I would lend this project for. Like, it is tiny. But I think that actually helps the ride in a lot of sections. It's able to get full-size elements in places where other people were not able to get full-size elements. Like, I love this rising turn, and then these slalom turns that follow the contour of the path that it's on.
Yeah.
Like, it's really well integrated with the actual infrastructure that's in the area.
And then this
Ow.
part is crazy.
Ow!
And then
ow,
there's this.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Yeah.
Ow! Ow! I would gag. Like, I
That
don't know.
was
like, I
that
kinda love.
specific spot was kind of like I was loving it, and then it hits that, and I'm just like, oh, my thighs not liking me coming off of that.
Yeah, no. But-
No, I agree. It's
Yeah.
certainly loyal to the Hyper GTX design.
Yeah, and there
Yeah.
were a lot of real cues that were taken from it. Like, the supports are very, like, lightning rod coated. Even the way that there's like a very like a significantly thinner tube actually connecting to the track versus the supports itself.
There we go.
It's really well done. Sorry, what were you saying, man?
I was just gonna say that I like mainly echo what you guys are saying. I think this layout isn't quite as amazing to me as it is to you, Kelton.
It's
But
probably
I
because you
do-
were underwhelmed with Lightning Run like a couple weeks
Well,
ago.
yeah, maybe that was
I'll
like
say you're
playing in my
judging
mind
this
a little.
fresh off the back of Lightning Run. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like this layout. I think it's well thought out. You can see that there was effort put into how it flows. I think I prefer the layout of the other GTX we had, not to, draw comparisons, but we had two GTXs. I think I prefer the layout of the other. But this one just kind of excelled in presentation, execution,
Yeah.
etc. Where it came to like safety, functionality, this one just took the edge. I mean, like we said, these entries are all super close points wise. This isn't like, these aren't dramatic jumps between entries that we're doing here. These are all very close.
Yeah, and again, to echo before, as you'll see, ow. Sorry, but just had to get that in there. You'll see the breakdown on the scores. You will see just how close these all were. It was difficult to.
Yeah.
I think for me, some of these entries were difficult to actually accept that they had placed above others, because I wasn't expecting them to. But at the end of the day, the scores come together they speak for themselves. It's what happens.
Yeah, it
Um,
really just like, I mean, there's more to the entries than just how good is your layout.
yeah,
And I think that's where some fell behind, some went ahead, etc.
Yeah.
Completely.
but yeah, I like this. Really good effort from you, Kurt. You certainly took the design brief of build a coaster in the space. Don't do anything else.
Let's do more of
Yeah.
this.
Let's get more
Let's
of
do
this.
more of these.
Yeah, I'm certainly
Yeah.
happy to see more of these. But yes, I think I don't think there's anything that I could say that hasn't already been said by you two.
Nope.
So this will take a little longer between entries. We are now about to get into the big ones. Top
Yes,
5.
moving on to the top 5.
So these are some of the best of the best. You know.
Yeah,
these...
they are the best of the best.
Well, that's it. Yeah, they are the best. Let me just get to the correct directory because I moved to a different folder. So I'm just going to need to refer to the image myself now. Where is it? Make sure I load
Every
the correct
single one of the entries that you're about to
Here we
see
go.
are super, super impressive.
Yeah.
Super impressive. I mean, like, yeah, really, really quality stuff coming up.
And I'd
I
like
mean-
to point out, as much as we're talking about a difference between these entries and the previous ones, the difference that splits 5th place from 6th is 0.3 points. It was that
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
So, just to confirm with you guys that you can see this, just going to load
Yep.
play mode,
Yep.
and if you guys want to go ahead and kick us off.
Of course. So in 5th place, we have the Celestial Shrine by Lounge, which is a massive Mac Extreme spinning coaster. I mean, this is just like so impressive to look at.
It's a bit
Um,
big.
The scale of it
While we're
is
talking
just,
this, I'm just gonna continue. I'm just sorting something.
yeah, of course. Yeah, the scale of this is so impressive. I think to even build something like this on this scale and have it make sense for the most part is a feat in itself.
Yeah.
I think this layout is super interesting. I think it follows the principles of what Mac does with their extreme spinners. Obviously, this is on a scale that we haven't yet seen with the extreme spinners,
No.
but for the most part, I think this is really well made to that kind of standard. There are certain gripes I have with this ride,
Nope,
but I
can't
will
do.
let the other guys talk about their positive feelings towards this first.
Yeah, Kelton, you want to go while I'm walking through?
Yeah, sure. So, this ride is massive. I don't know how else to say it. It's massive. I'm shocked that a ride this big was able to actually fit in the plot. There's a lot of really cool stuff. That stall launch is by far my favorite part of the ride, and I feel like it is somewhat obvious that it was sort of built around the stall.
Yeah.
Watch me be completely wrong, but there's a lot of really cool elements, a lot of really intense elements, and then a couple moments where it's like, well, we gotta get back to the other cool elements, so what do we do?
Yeah.
God,
Yeah,
it's big.
this was a very fun coaster to ride. Fun to walk around, maybe not as much as some of the ones that placed below it, and I think that's why this is 5th and not higher up, is that it's a fun ride, but I think we could probably agree this is one that fits that bill of was designed to fit on the site, not in the site.
Yeah, I agree. I
And-
agree.
As great of a layout this is, as loyal as it is to Mac's design principles, and I certainly think that it is, it doesn't necessarily feel like the perfect fit for the site.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
section that we've been going through right now is another highlight of the ride with the
Yeah.
dive loop top hat Immelman. But then you can see here, like,
We're just meandering a little
I
bit
challenge
to
the
get to the
chat.
end.
Tell me anything that we just did after those elements.
Yeah,
And
it's a
nothing,
bit tough to
because
follow.
There's nothing. Like,
Reality
you just
is
sort of
it's
bob up and down and around. Like,
some
Yeah.
hills. And
Yeah,
I
also
guess in a
gripes,
real
like-
life situation, you'd probably be thinking differently, because this is giving airtime. Like, there's no two ways about it.
oh yeah, for sure.
This right here, off axis, is giving airtime. And you'd know
yeah.
that riding it, but I suppose that makes it difficult to judge that in NL2. But yes. It's,
Yeah, I think
some bits meander a little bit.
my kind of gripes with this entry, as Amy pointed out, it feels like it was kind of built on top again, but some others have been. I think, as much as I like the setup of the kind of DAC storage, the elevated station, the stall launch over the top of it, I don't know how practically this would fit where it does right up against X's building. That is super nitpicky, I know, but I'm looking at it from that perspective, and I'm thinking, okay, how practical would this be if you built this tomorrow? You know what I mean?
Right, like, point to the station.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's the
there's a-
booth?
This is kind of the antithesis to Lydian's, where everything is happening over this side, rather than the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that sequence after the stall launch, I adore. Like, I think it's so cool. It's such an interesting way of turning it around, using Slammer's plot in a really interesting and like unique way. For me, that is the standout point of this layout.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a very that's going to be a hero element for the ride. Like, like obviously when they built Hyperia, they've got all this merch using the silhouette of the ride. This,
Yeah.
I feel like they'd work into the ride's logo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that
Or
really
maybe
cool.
like the banana roll type thing,
Yeah,
if they're looking for one
or that. Yeah.
thing. I mean, I also do like that banana roll. I mean, I would change maybe the profiling slightly. Like, I get that it was meant to be sort of like a wave turn at the same time, but
It's a little awkward in its current state.
Yeah.
it is, but it's not horrendous by any means. And I mean, as we're flying through all these structures, like, you can see that there's a lot of detail put into them to make them similar to mock structures.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that top hat might be a bit under supported, but like,
I think a lot of the areas have had supports that maybe need a little more to them. So
Yeah,
this, for
a little
example,
plenty.
I feel like could do with some more. Like, yes, you've got lateral bracing here. Where's your lateral bracing on the lead-in?
Yeah,
because
and
I
it's-
think this
it's-
alone is not going to be enough.
yeah, and like that support that you were just looking at in particular, like, I know Ride to Happiness does something similar to it,
Yes.
but this is also double the
Twice the
size
size.
of Ride to
Yeah, that's
Happiness.
pretty
And
big.
I think that addition, like,
How tall
not the
is
fancy
that?
shot,
It's gonna be
like, I think the
what?
more height that it has, like, we sort of lose a little bit of the
Yeah.
uh,
I think as well, like, where you can
really
see
well.
some effort's been put into flange up some areas,
yeah.
like loyal to Mac.
Yeah.
Well, somewhat loyal to Mac. Other areas are just completely devoid, and I think there were some points lost there as well for that.
Yeah.
But
Really
I
impressive
mean,
that this was done in Blender, though. Like, all
Yeah.
these supports were done in Blender. Super impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of them just look a little flimsy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So otherwise, though, really love this. It's really fun. It's smooth. It's Mac. This is
Yeah.
quintessential Mac, and I really enjoyed looking at this. So,
Yep. Very
we
well
will move on. Let me. These are the ones that take a little longer to switch between. Right. Load number 4. So those who have been following along and know who entered know that we only have, obviously, know roughly who the top 4 are going to be on that basis. Results may surprise you. But we're just loading through now to get this one loaded. This one needs a little longer just because of some extra things included. So let me once again delete the clearance volume before we load the sim. Just make it a little cleaner. If you want to go ahead and launch us into entry number 4.
So this is Valis, question mark, by Luco. It is an intense family, question mark, multi-launch coaster with a lot of, like, I love this ride. I want it to be
Me
built
too.
so bad.
I
Outside of the
was
brake run.
fond of this. Like,
Yes.
I really
Spoiler
liked
alert,
looking
the
at
brake
this.
run is the thing that made this ride fourth.
Yeah,
But,
this would have placed higher if not for this.
Yeah, I completely agree. It flows really well. It's
Family
long,
thrill, emphasis on the thrill.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I cannot thank you, Luca, because that's what you'll see in my comments. I said the babies would be screaming because.
Here we go,
what
here we
the
go,
hell
here we
is
go,
this
wait.
doing?
Grind to a halt. There we are.
Yeah.
Let's hang on, let's ride this.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, this ride is super impressive. Just the amount of track that was able to fit into this space without feeling like it was like too Well, I mean, this is very ambitious, but it feels like it fits the spot, which is something that, you know, a couple other entries struggled with, especially the ones that were on like the larger scale. But no, this is just such an interesting entry. There weren't many people that attempted any sort of genre of coaster with family in the name. How much you can extend that to this, I'm not sure, but I'll take it at face value. I mean, I said this in my comment. I've watched this so many times, I still don't know what the layout is or what it does. I think in places it's like slightly repetitive, but I think for the most part there is enough variation in element and sequencing to where it, you know, doesn't feel overly monotonous. I just think this was a super unique approach to the contest. I think it was executed really well. It is just the way that it ends. I don't think you have to do that.
Yeah,
Legendary.
I think the that final break is. Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like there were ways around that that maybe could have been invested in. One more thing I like about this is the changing support color between the different fines. I think that's just a fun little detail, but
And
yeah.
there we are.
Yeah, when Luco builds stuff, he does so much stuff very intentionally, and I think he puts a lot more thought into specific aspects of a ride that some people don't. Such as
Multi-move.
as we were just saying, like the colors of the supports with the different sections, or he'll have like sort of like continuous themes throughout a ride's layout. I don't know how else to say it. Like this has a lot of the sort of off-axis-y but also slightly turning hills, which can easily get repetitive, but I think he's done it in a way that it does not. I love the curved supports.
Yes.
I'm not exactly sure if they would do it, but visually, I think it's worth it.
Yeah,
I think it makes
agree.
the ride look a lot more put together and a lot more standout.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Because
And
a
I
lot
like
of these bands you would still be fine even without the curved connected support.
Yeah, and while we're on the topic of the curved supports, I like this detail here, for example, of, like, you did not need to extend that to a second anchoring support, but it's there, and that just strengthens that connection, you know, and it gives it that structure, that stability, you know.
Yeah.
I love this. It's smooth. Every element feels deliberate. Nothing feels forced.
Yeah.
There's no elements that really linger longer than they need to just to reach somewhere. There's, I mean, I'll get him out of the way. There's a couple of gripes I have. It fails an e-stop test in the first block. So if this block is stopped just long enough so that it crawls off of this, you know, overbank from a standstill, it can't clear this next element, and it valleys here. Now, that's not been marked down too much because of how much of a low zone this is. You know, this would be a perfectly acceptable evac spot. You know, it would be considered to be ride area. You could just roll some makeshift steps up to the train when it rests, and you know you're getting people off. Totally fine.
As opposed to other ones that were getting stuck in like a roll. And
a little too high
like,
up to safely evac.
Yeah.
I think you could have taken 2 cars off of this. I don't really think this needs to be 7 cars long. I think if it like, oh my god, like
it never gets old, does it?
oh my god.
Never gets old.
Yeah, when he was talking in the chat, he was like, "Oh my god, I made my ride go from 1,240 people per hour to 1,800." I said, "Oh no."
It's like you stop,
This is about
stop!
to be
You've
something
already
done,
hit the
like,
requirement.
yeah.
You know. But a couple of other things I want to shout this out for. It's unique in the sense it did not use the slammer plot, and yet scored as highly as it did. And also, this is the only entry to have managed 5 passes of the tunnels.
Crazy.
For most people, obviously 4, as long as your train fit, 4 was going to be easy. You've got 4 opportunities. But Luco went one further, managed to cram a 5th one in there, and it's even viable because they're in the same block. There's no chance of 2 trains passing here.
It just inevitably leaves that breakdown, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not okay, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, my final thought on this is, would I ever see Thorpe replacing Colossus with this? Absolutely not, but they should.
Yeah.
Like, they should.
That part.
If Thorpe replaced Colossus with this, I'd ride the hell out of it. Like,
Right. I love the overbank through the supports on the hill.
yes.
Love them.
Real highlight there. Really love it.
Yeah, awesome. Really, really cool.
But yeah, I think that's probably a good place to leave that one.
Yeah,
we
congrats on
shall
4.
back out of here. And let me check. Make sure I've got this right. Yeah. So. But yeah, no, while I'm waiting for this to load, massive well done on that. Really impressed. Really enjoyed looking at it. Really did.
Yeah.
It was actually
Awesome
the
stuff.
last one I went through for judging. I'd looked at it prior, but I'd forgotten to write down the scores and my thoughts. So it ended up being the last one I wrote down my scores for.
Yeah, I think just overall, like, super cleanly executed, really well presented. It felt super intentional in everything that it did. Yeah, it really went a long way.
Yeah. Right, we're loading 3rd place now. Again, this one's going to take a little bit of time. Just need to get there. Here we go.
Yes, the podium.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're up to the big 3. Exciting.
The top.
Exciting
3,
stuff.
Yes, indeed.
So, let's... Alright, you guys can confirm you are seeing my screen.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Cool. Let's get this loaded. I'm ready when you are. Kick us off.
Okay. In 3rd place, we have Rush out of Coconut Grove Temple by Felix, which, if it was based on the length of the name, this would be 1st. And I'm not saying it again. So, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Coconut
not going there
Grove.
again.
Coconut Grove.
Felix utilized the airtime trains that he made very well
I was
for
gonna
the
say, he's done
contest.
a very good job on these trains.
Yeah, the trains are awesome. I promise I won't steal them. I will send you the money, Felix, when
I'm
you
not
decide to put them on sale. But yeah, no, this is just such a well thought out ride, I think, for the most part. I'll get into some critiques with it later, but just looking at it from a visual standpoint, it looks amazing.
It's
the way
so
that it fits
pretty.
into the plot is really well thought out. I think for the most part, this makes sense with the airtime coaster. I think it was a really smart choice for this contest. Um, Actually, the only two family-esque coasters back to back, I think.
All finished top 5. Yeah.
Yeah, so it just goes to show it doesn't always have to be the tallest or the fastest. Here is proof that you can just have a solid concept for something and it will take you a long way. But no, I think this is really cool. There are critiques that I have, but we will get back to those.
Yeah. I want to say, first of all, that I spent a good 20 minutes in this one just looking at it, just watching it and walking around. It's so much fun to look at and so much fun to ride as well, and I'll get to that now, actually. It's smooth, it was loyal to the manufacturer's design style, and that's saying something because it's a brand new model of coaster. The first one in the world was only built last year before?
Last year, yeah.
It's brand new, and yet you've captured it so well. The essence of what it does. And the effort that's been put in to make a good lengthy layout that doesn't feel too long, to me at least, just honestly took my breath away looking at this one.
Yeah, this is another one like where Leo said just with Luco's, do I see Thor replacing Colossus with this? No. Should they? Yeah. I think there are a couple spots where the profiling is a bit funky.
Like here.
That turn.
Yeah.
I know he says it passes. Sure. We'll
Yeah.
go with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't clip in the game. So, it does pass, but I'm also not exactly sure if it really would. Like, if Gerstlauer saw that, I'm not sure if they'd be like, yeah, that passes. But this ride, it's fantastic. There's this section in the middle that is just so strong, where you're weaving down, up, and through these moments, and like the ride is all intertwined with each other. Yeah, basically, like if you turn around as well in this section, like just the view of it is so good.
Yeah.
It's easily my favorite part of the ride. I love the double airtime hills going down into the trenches. Oh no, not those ones.
Not this double up.
We don't like that double up. No.
Oh,
those
these.
Ones.
Yeah,
yes,
these.
I love these. I think they look really cool, especially if you're looking at it like head on.
Right about here.
And watching the train. There's a lot of great places where you could view this ride from the paths. Like, I wouldn't feel bad making Mima sit and wait because she'd at least be entertained visually and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of when a coaster is designed for the space.
100%. Yeah. Something I just want to very quickly touch on with this. I said I had critiques. I will get them past as quickly as I can because I did go quite in depth with my commentary on this. What really kind of not brought this ride down for me, but kind of threw me for a loop a little bit is I understand this is meant to be on a level of intensity higher than Megalodon. I get it. I recognize it. I think what kind of threw me off is it transitions from that kind of gentler, like, flowy style to a really intense, whippy part of the ride with, like, no hesitation. And then that intensity then kind of dies down by the time the end of the ride comes around, where it goes back to a gentler sort of ride. And it kind of has me wondering where this is supposed to sit in terms of demographic. Because the transition from that, like, floatier first half to, like, the speed that it takes the second half is really, like, dramatic. And I think that's okay, but then it just, like, loses that momentum again towards the end. And so it's a bit of a, like, it's hard for me to put a label on it because it does so much in so little time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, especially this section right here that you're looking at right now, again, I love the idea of actually making the taco stand worth something and putting the tables within the, like, nested within the turn. It's fantastic, but like you're powering over the airtime hill, like just on the other side of the path. Like we're talking -1 stuff like that. I don't know if these trains would be doing that. And you're weaving through the support structure, really good head choppers and good lats, and then you just sort of hit this S curve that's over the path, and like all the speed goes away. And I don't necessarily understand how. Like we're going from -1 and these really strong moments into these little bumps that are like 0.4, and it just sort of feels odd. Like I get that it's the end of the ride, but there are other examples at the beginning and in the middle of the ride that do the same thing. And I think I phrased it as like in my comments that the pacing feels like it's sort of pushing and pulling you, which might be someone's cup of tea. Who knows? There might be someone gagging over this really bad, but like,
I mean, I would be gagging over this really bad.
I would. Okay, I would. Yeah, true. That is true. But I it just makes it feel a little bit awkward, I'd say. But even at this part that we're walking through right now, like, I know that we can't judge based off of the scenery, but the scenery
that was
does help.
Yeah.
Really visualize what you were trying to do here.
Yeah, it helps visualize the integration into the park. And honestly, considering that you've built in similar spaces to Colossus Cube, but then also not used the exact same route, I love it. Like, the ability to just run it round past here and completely lock this off, you know, it's... We couldn't add any points judging based on of this, but I wish I could have, because you put in so much effort here, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is such a strong entry. I just think maybe, like, it was hard for me to understand entirely what the vision for this ride was, as good as it is. Like, I think I said this in my comment, every, like, section of the layout is really strong in a vacuum, and then you put it all together and it feels, like, slightly disjointed for me.
Yeah. It's overall, though, I mean, yeah, I love looking at this. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there for this one. Congratulations on third place, Felix. Really well done, and really proud of you for pulling this out of the bag.
And we want the tech, and we want the model.
Yeah, put this into a pack.
Our pockets are open and ready to spend $5.
Yeah, put this into a pack. And people will pay for it.
One thing I just want to add, Felix, this is far and away your best work in NoLimits.
Agreed.
Like, easily.
Oh yeah,
massive, massive well done.
From all three of us. Agreed.
Yeah, baby, we love.
More of this. More of this, please.
More of this.
Right. I will get to work on loading second place. But while that's loading, you guys can do the maths. You know who's left. Who do we think came where? In chat. But
the girls are going to be fighting.
Yeah, the girlies are going to be fighting.
Also, I just want to point out, for what it's worth, first to fourth were all separated by a point each.
Single point.
So, yeah, single point between each entry. So, super close. Super close.
There's not much in it.
Yeah, this upper end of entries was so strong. So strong.
Right, I'm sure you guys can see I am ready when you are. Drum roll, folks, in chat for second place. Thank you. That's my partner in the background. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's you, Kelton.
I was like, yes, it is, isn't it? It is Tempest by Darkstar. It is the GCI entry of this competition. I was floored when I opened this. far and away, even though this didn't win, this ride did the absolute most with this template.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It revitalized the entire area.
Agreed.
Granted, would it be kind of ugly in places IRL? Yeah, but like you don't really get away with walking through a wooden coaster in the way that you do on this one
No.
without it being a little funky.
And
the
to have
main
it as forgiving as it is
Yeah.
with the scale that it's at, like,
yeah, this was wow, like wow. Oh baby we love. I think the main reason why this ride makes the template feel so fresh and unique on its own is just because the station is in a completely different spot.
it's
Yeah.
totally changed the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. The main thing that I will say going into this that made it so that this couldn't get first was GCIs are known for their very strict force limits, especially
Yeah.
on these trains. No, we don't got a minute. Malware bite,
Yeah, no, fuck
We're
off,
busy.
malware bites. We're busy.
right?
We're busy eating.
They have their very strict force limits on these trains, and there are ways to circumvent it, but unfortunately there are just
Where is the-
one too many.
Are they all out on
it's
the...
up the lift.
Oh my god.
Well, there's only two, yeah.
Okay.
This could have had 3.
Yeah,
but
I
it
reckon this
wasn't
could have run
necessary.
3, yeah.
Yeah. But I think we should ride. There's one at the top of the list.
Yeah, I want to wait for this because we do have a pre-lift involved.
We do, yeah.
And actually, it gives us a great opportunity to talk about an aspect of this, which is the station fly-through.
I love
which
it.
I
There
don't
were-
think has been done before in this way. It's built at an angle, so as you'll observe here,
Tell me that's not fierce. Like
that
that's
is
so
fierce.
cool.
You're looking
I-
right at him.
Yeah.
Like, I love. Yeah.
And then
I
there's
really do
and
like
this little bit of voyage coded.
It. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
There were people who were preying on the downfall of this station fly-through, and I'm not one of those. I think it is
No,
awesome.
me neither.
Granted, this is where it pulls the forces that probably it shouldn't pull.
Yes, I agree.
Going
Yeah.
in and out.
It's a little.
But the visual of it
too much
is just
airtime.
awesome. Just to kind of echo what the others have said, like this, it just felt like you got a different template to everyone else.
Yeah.
Like even looking at it, knowing the template, it was hard for me to even recognize the template underneath it. That's how much it kind of changed it for me. I think what just made this like lose out from first is mostly the execution of the shaping.
Yeah.
We all know that GCI is super specific with their design language.
Very
I
strict.
understand it's a really difficult thing to replicate. I think you did do a good job in a lot of places, but when you have a standard like that, that's kind of the standard that I'm going to be judging it to. And I think a lot of transitions felt a little too smooth, a little too flowy, but this layout is just fantastic. And like, especially in this plot, I don't even know how you managed to come up with this and have it like adhere to GCI's design principles with like the circles and whatever else. It's just super impressive.
No, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that part.
Yeah.
Like in
It's
the
really
back,
cool.
it would be so fun. The lads coming out of that drop, like
Definitely.
Yeah.
At first,
This-
I was a little bit skeptical, but it really sold.
This run here, like going through and under the bridges and then turning around, I genuinely think it is
Oh,
perfect in terms of
so
layout
good.
and like element choice. Yeah, no, this layout really is just fantastic. Like you managed to create not even just a good GTI for this contest, but like a really good GTI in
Full
the
stop.
like grand scheme of
Yeah.
GTIs. Yeah.
And I have to say, and I think it's only fair that we bring this up for how much of a fuss you made over it. For all of the fact that you were whinging about removing the storage building to put your storage there, and you never even used it, and I'm
Right.
so disappointed, honestly. Mark, you know what? Actually, No, I'm overriding you two.
I think I actually
strip
want
in
to go to
second
Coconut
place.
Grove again.
Yeah,
Like,
strip in second place for that. Yeah. Remove the building. No, I kid. I kid, of course. I think we all know that Tyler is known for bringing high quality
and
contest
the
entries.
are incredible.
And yeah, there's a strong attention to detail, and I'm just so impressed with all of it. It blew me away, and to echo what Leo said, yeah, I think there's some areas that don't quite feel GCI enough, which sounds weird, but you know, I think that was what held it back from first place for me.
Yeah, and I think it's because there's a lot of the moments on this ride, it's either going back to the courses, you'll be going up a hill in the front and it'll be 0.1, which is fine, which is what they would be doing, but then the next element would be like negative 0.8, and it's like, where did the disconnect come? I would almost rather it just be like 2 moments of, say, it's negative 0.3 or something like that, which is still slightly too intense, but it's more within reason. It felt like this ride was almost meant for pictures. I don't mean to say that shadily, like...
No, I agree. I mean, if you look at the angle that I have right now, this is what people would be seeing walking into the area from the south,
and it looks really
north
cool.
End. And it just, it looks fantastic. You've got fan turn here, it's framed. Station doesn't feel obtrusive in the view. It's fantastic.
This it's just really
impressed.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah,
and they'll never make me hate the incline flyby. I'll die on that hill.
I think the only thing I can probably
you'll die on the hill coming out of it
is this is another one that impressed me of a big scale coaster that actually again felt designed for the space.
Yeah.
Really good job at doing that.
It's great.
But
so congrats on second place.
Yeah, congratulations on the silver medal, Tyler. I know it might not be what you were expecting, but congratulations anyway. You did a fantastic job, which only leaves us with one more entry.
Yep, and people who have been following who entered this contest
know who this
exactly
is.
What is coming up.
Yep.
But I mean, before this even loads, this winning entry for me, and I think for the other 2 judges, was just like a home run.
Absolutely.
There was so little to critique about it that it just it had to be. It had to be.
Yeah, it was like, while it loads, I will say as well, there are 1 or 2 things that did hold it back from a perfect score, but they were so minute, so negligible that it was tough to even think of. I had to go looking for something to mark down. That's how good this was. So obviously you've all said it in chat, and thank you very much, gents, for introducing all the others. But in first place for this contest, we have Lee with the entry called, and I've bloody lost the name for it now, Oblivion the Wormhole. So let's get this loaded and start running around. Behold, the majestic Vekoma tilt coaster, the only one we received.
The only tilt we got.
The only tilt coaster we received is what won the contest. So
this is just so fantastic. Like, it's difficult to know where to start because it's incredible in every single way. Layout, support, pacing, flow, like integration with the template. Like, it did everything right. Every single thing was done right.
And I can certainly speak for myself. I did pull this into the full park project I have for Thorpe Park after the judging was finished and we'd established this as first place. And it confirmed for me this would fit. This would look great on the skyline. It's so well thought out for the space, and it just gives riders such an insane experience from start to finish. It's classic modern Vekoma, which, you know, sounds strange. We've lost Leo temporarily because he force quit Discord by accident. He's back. He's back.
You got sucked into the wormhole, girl.
He got sucked
did.
in. Yeah.
I did, yeah.
But we'll give this a ride through. But I absolutely loved this, and people who know me in the community know that I am, you know, I'm very fond of the modern Vekoma design principles, the rides that they've built. Even being in, like, I didn't even have to try to be impartial here. It was just that good. Like,
Yeah,
the faithfulness
this
to the
is
manufacturer.
Just, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It also somehow manages to blend a very old Vekoma and, like, old new Vekoma and new Vekoma. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
it has
Yeah.
the ending section's very Lek coaster inspired,
Yes.
where it's a lot of
Yeah.
heavier G turns and like whippy corkscrews, while the first part is very Tekuani Beast, Siren's Curse of it.
Yeah.
It has a lot of those style of elements, and I think it just flows altogether really well.
I think
Yeah,
love
I
the
mean,
gradient.
there were, like, I saw Lee make several iterations of this ride, and
Yes, we all did.
it's really nice to see that she landed on the best one.
Yeah.
I mean, the sequencing of elements is just so interesting. It never, like, dies down for a second, but then not everything is, like, super intense. There's some floatier moments. I mean, it's just really fantastic. It's what Vekoma would do in this plot. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It feels legit like they could just announce this tomorrow, and I would be like, that makes sense.
Yeah, that tracks. Yeah.
It's, really, really, really well done.
Yeah, and something I'd like to highlight as well is the choice for and it sounds so trivial, but it's the choice for the direction that the tilt faces. That you are genuinely just looking straight out over the lake, and for so much of that tilt, you are just looking at the end of the track, poking straight into water. And it's not until you're right about to lock into the drop that you see any ground. It's a small detail that I appreciated so much while looking at this.
Yeah. And this
It
ride would
has-
look incredible from the pathways too.
Right?
Yeah,
it
agreed.
has so many moments that, like, I could totally just see, like, what is it, the sun or whatever y'all got over there, being like, oh my god!
Oh, there it
24
is.
people were stranded a billion feet in the air, and they
Right.
almost died because there was no track. Like, someone save them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because y'all
Yeah.
love to sensationalize that stuff.
Yeah.
A
Yep.
bird could fly into the ride, and they'd be like, oh my god, a bird just knocked over the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Literally.
I was very fond of this as well. That, yes, threading this tunnel twice, but it's literally sequential on the same element.
Yeah.
Just looping it over. Where's the train? There it is.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of this layout is just a little further down the pathway. The corkscrew that goes over it is just
That
like
Rolls over. Yeah.
so satisfying, both on ride, off ride. That roll down into the, like, under the bridge, awesome. Like, it's just so well thought out and so well intentioned, and, like, just really precise. I love it. I really love it.
loved looking through this, and it was just so much fun to ride and look at.
And it's smooth. Oh, it's so smooth.
Really is. Just roll over. There it is.
It's so cool.
And then just again maintaining that pace, not overstaying the welcome, just recognizing, okay, we're running out of speed here, take it into the brakes.
And just going whoop into the brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Very,
mean,
very
I know it wasn't something that any entry was judged on, but the ombre on the track, mwah, love it. I love it. Just,
Yeah, it's these somewhat smaller changes that, while not directly impacting like the score, it really does just seal the vision of what you're trying to go for, and
Yeah.
I think that's sort of what will also put rides like this a step above some of the others, because you can tell that there was just a lot of thought put into the majority of this ride. Like, it's,
Yeah, agreed.
I
Yeah.
just absolutely love it. My
This
favorite
is
part
how you do it.
Yeah, my favorite part is the wave turn off of the tilt. I think it's such a cool way to use
On the
both of
structure.
ports.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
I love this part, and then the way that you just pop out of it and you turn, you
And then you
fly
just
through the roll in the
straight
other
in,
direction,
yeah.
directly into, like, the flow is just really cool. And like, we've just had the opportunity to go on Siren's Curse recently, and I was like majorly impressed with it.
Yeah.
I was worried that the Vekoma slop had like seeped its way into my brain, and that I wasn't gonna like it, because at that point I had only been on Lek and Formula beforehand. Like, I haven't even done Abyssus to be let down by a big Vekoma, so I only had the really fierce ones in my head.
I
And
was
then we
expecting
went
to
on
be the
that,
only
and it
one
was
that liked it
incredible.
as much as I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's, yeah, fantastic entry, fantastic work. And not to, this does not diminish anyone else's work at all. You know, everyone has put in their best for this and
Yeah.
produced what they have. And I'm really happy with the amount of people that chose to get involved, the amount of entries we received. I had such a great time looking through every single one of these entries. Just getting to see the different capabilities of everybody and their visions for this space. And, you know, there can only be one winner, but there have been several really great entries in this that I can
Yeah.
easily see built in this space. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
So even if
And
you
then
haven't
it really,
won,
yeah, it just, like, these top few entries, like, any one of them realistically could have won.
yeah,
Like, I think, like, we looked at, like, the top 3, top 4, and you said, you know, like, these are our, like, top entries, but until we had each put our scores in, I don't think any of us knew what was really going to come out on top.
yeah.
Like, it was really, really close. But yeah, I mean, this is just really, just fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really fun. And
I will
go ahead. Yeah.
just as a slight swerve, but as a note for anybody who wants to build a tilt coaster in the future. If you are building a tilt coaster for a contest that has a capacity requirement, you must put the invisible block after the tilt in a place, because NoLimits' tilts are funky, and the tilt track itself won't tilt back until the next block is clear. So you need to have an invisible block that at the place where you want the tilt to start tilting back, essentially. This ride almost
Almost got
was
DQ'd.
disqualified,
Yeah.
because the first time it was submitted, the tilt track would stay in this vertical position until
was
the train had made it all the way through the final brake run.
And as a
then
result,
it
it
would
was
finally tilt
failing.
back.
It
And
was failing the capacity
and
requirements.
the second train was stacking at the top of the lift because of it. And I know Lee was like, "Why? The math works out." Yeah,
The-
Mama,
the
because
math
the
ain't
math wasn't what we
mathing.
were watching. The math was math, but the math was not watching. It
No.
was confused.
So, like, this goes to show how much attention to detail you do need to put in for winning entries, because that little detail was the difference between getting first place, as has happened, and potentially not placing at all.
And losing to Calvin. Sorry, no, sorry, I didn't mean that.
Oh dear.
Speaking of attention to detail, there's one thing about this that I just want to point out as well. It is by no means any, like, source of points or this winning, like, it's not the deciding factor or anything, but the decision to use, like, different spacing of cross ties and different spine thicknesses in the right places just
Mhm.
takes it another step, and it just really adds to the realism of this ride. And, like, it's just it's just little things that need to be remembered, or should be remembered rather, that just like push certain entries that little bit further. Maybe not score-wise, but just like our perception of them, and how they're judged. You know, it like leaves a better impression when you focus on smaller details like that.
Yeah, I think obviously we have talked a lot about the positives. There is one aspect for me that did prevent the ability to get a perfect score here, and it was and Lee, I know you're in the chat. We've already talked about this. You acknowledged this. Some of the flanging on the tilt structure was not quite up to scratch, and I'm not talking about these ones clipping. I'm talking about ones being missing. If we follow this particular segment of support as a continuous support, we're wrapping right the way around the tower and back up the other side. That ain't fitting on a flatbed truck, honey. We've already talked about this, though. This is just saying it so it's been said. So that's pretty much the only thing I would say held this back from near perfect scoring.
Just so everyone knows that there were a couple critiques. Like, do I think this layout is perfect? No, but it's so close that like I just can't. It's impossible to look at it
I can't
as anything
not.
but just like exactly. And that is a personal thing as well. It's just personal things that I don't think flow perfectly, but someone else might. And it's like it's not offensive or out of place in any way, shape, or form. It's just a personal taste thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just like a home run. Yeah.
Yeah. Just seeing what Lee's talking about the tacos.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could.
Aldo, I know you're out there.
You could enjoy your taco and then like look up at the tilt and gag.
Because there's not some mammoth roller coaster just impaling through the cashier.
Yeah.
Like there is on the hot dog stand. Just a footer through the building. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't poke fun at that, but come on, man. I say it's my fault that it's literally just a wooden block in the template. So, but I ain't doing detailing passes. Look at how simple the rest of all of it is. You know. But anyway,
I mean, massive congrats.
Yeah, congratulations to Lee, Tyler, and Felix for your top 3 placements. Congratulations to everybody who took part in this, and you've all done amazingly. Really proud of all of you, and really happy with what we got in.
Yeah, it's been really fun judging this contest, seeing people's entries come in, and seeing the overall standard of the entries that we got. I think for all of us, it was way higher than what we expected, and even the number of submissions we had was really impressive for a contest that didn't have that long.
I say we only gave 3 weeks. Yeah.
Only 3 weeks, yeah.
I might reconsider that in the future.
It doesn't leave a whole lot of room for like revisions and rethinking what your approach to a contest is. But people churned out some really incredible work, and it's been really fun judging this. And thank you everyone for participating.
Yeah. And I think sorry, Kelton, any closing thoughts?
Y'all ate.
Y'all ate. We'll leave it there. That's it. You get 2 words and that's it.
Yeah.
No.
Luco's review got 2 words from Kelton.
Y'all ate.
2 sentences.
2 sentences.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's probably a good place for us to close out on then. Well done to everybody who took part and for everybody who has come by to see the results.
And we will have the spreadsheet up very soon for you to look at.
Spreadsheet will be up on Discord, the No Limits Central Discord, straight after this. So worry not, you will be able to see your scathing remarks in full detail. But yeah, thank you.
We were nice.
Yeah, thank you to everybody for dropping by for the results stream. I would also personally want to thank you guys, Leo and Kelton, for agreeing to judge on this. It's been great.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great time.
I'll
Leo
certainly
messaged me being like, I want to do a Colossus Replacement Contest. I was like, I know exactly where to go.
You know I'm making it, and it's Well, hey, I mean, I've got the rest of Thorpe. Are we? Shall we replace Nemesis Inferno next?
Yeah.
No, we should replace Rumba
Swarm
Rapids.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. We
Looking very empty.
were talking between Rumba Rapids or Swarm Island. You know.
Yeah.
One of the
So,
two.
you know,
Or both.
stay tuned.
Give people both. No, right, no. This is for later discussion. This is for later.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will close out the stream here. Thank you so much to everybody. And yeah.
We'll see
Catch
y'all
you all in the
later.
Discord.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Bye.